Naruto is one of the strongest shinobi that has ever lived. Today, we are going to take a look at 10 strongest opponents that he has ever fought. Number 10. Delta. Delta is one of the inner members of Kara. She was scientifically modified and turned into a cyborg by Amado. Being one of the Kara inners, it only makes sense for her to be one of the stronger characters in Naruto and Borutoverse. She was able to go toe-to-toe with heavily suppressed Naruto, which is nothing to sneeze at. When she realized that Naruto is too much for her, she attacked Himawari, which only made the fight even more one-sided. Once Naruto got angry, Naruto was able to defeat her by whipping out one of the largest Rasengans we have ever seen. She tried to absorb it, which made her overheat. Number 9. Obito. To be clear, I'm talking about Jubito in this entry. When Obito became the 10th elite Jinchuriki, he got extremely overpowered. He was able to blitz the likes of Hashirama and Tobirama with zero difficulty. The only way they could damage him in this form is by using Taijutsu or Senjutsu. The only time that Jubito was actually pressured was when Naruto and Sasuke used Majestic Itaru Susanoo. Later down the line, Madara extracted the 10 tails out of Obito, and he actually managed to survive that. During the fight against Kaguya, Obito jumped in front of Kakashi and shielded him from Kaguya's ash bones, leading to his death. Even in the afterlife, Obito managed to help Naruto and the others by giving his eyes to Kakashi for a short period of time. Number 8. Tonari. When Tonari came to Earth, he had only one goal in his mind: to marry the Byakugan princess, aka Hinata. He abducted her and returned to the moon from where he came from. He even obtained the Tenseigan by stealing hundreds of Byakugan eyes. We don't know much about the Tenseigan, but we know that it made Tonari a lot stronger and gave him access to truth-seeking orbs. But even that proved useless against Naruto, who beat him with a single shot. To a lot of people's surprise, Tonari actually had a change of heart. He would try to guide Boruto in his dreams later down the line. Unfortunately, Boruto's and Tonari's bond would be cut short by Urashiki, who sealed Tonari away. In my opinion, Tonari is a wasted potential in Boruto. He could have been one of the more important characters in the series, but unfortunately, Urashiki got rid of him. Who knows, maybe Tonari will show up again in the future. Number 7. Madara. Madara is one of the strongest shinobi that has ever lived. He was a rival to Hashirama and one of the Leaf Village's founders. He got killed in his fight against Hashirama, but managed to escape death by using Izanagi. He later died of old age after obtaining the Rinnegan and making Obito into his successor. He was reanimated during the 4th Great Shinobi World War by Kabuto. After extracting the 10 tails out of Obito, he became the 10 tails Jinchuriki. It was at this time that Naruto and Sasuke got their 6 pets amps from Hagoromo, and even after they were amped, Madara was still able to fight both of them. A lot of people like to highball Madara, but if he hadn't used the infinite Tsukuyomi, Naruto and Sasuke would have beaten him. We later found out that Black Zetsu manipulated him in order to revive Kaguya. In his last moments in life, Madara had a heartfelt conversation with his childhood friend and war buddy, Hashirama Senju. Number 6. Urashiki. Yes, I know that it sounds absolutely insane to put Urashiki above Madara, but hear me out. Sasuke, who was fighting Madara, just received his Rinnegan, and Sasuke, who was fighting Urashiki, was physically stronger and more experienced with the Rinnegan. Urashiki was able to fight off both Sasuke and Gaara without much difficulty. And I'm just going to say, if you don't consider Urashiki canon, just ignore this entry on this list. Most Madara's attacks are probably stronger than any Urashiki's attacks, but the problem is that Madara couldn't beat Urashiki. Unlike Jiraiya, Madara doesn't have any poison-based attacks, which is the only way to really fight against Urashiki. His time abilities are absolutely broken, making him one of the strongest opponents on this list. However, when Urashiki transforms, everything changes. His transformation grants him more strength and agility. However, he loses his strongest ability in his arsenal. Ironically, this stronger version of Urashiki would probably lose to Madara, because he doesn't have his time abilities anymore. This straight up tells you how much of a trash character Urashiki is and how much of a Chad Madara is. Urashiki is also the only opponent on this list that Naruto fought as a kid. Number 5. Sasuke. Some people might not agree with me for putting Sasuke above Madara, but it's a fact that Sasuke at the end of Shippuden is stronger than Jubidara. And yes, I'm talking about teen Sasuke in this entry, not adult Sasuke. The only reason why I'm putting Sasuke this high on the list is because of so-called Indra mode. Sasuke used his perfect Susanoo as a vessel for all 9-tailed beasts, and basically got the 10 tails end. He was on par with Naruto during the entire fight. He also used the Indra's arrow, which is stated to be the strongest attack in Sasuke's arsenal at the time. A lot of people probably won't agree with me on this placement for Sasuke. Some people might think that he's weaker than Madara, some people might think that he's even stronger than Momoshiki, but in my opinion this is a perfect placement for Sasuke. Numbers 4 and 3, Momoshiki and Kaguya. Some people think that Kaguya is stronger than Momoshiki, and some people think that Momoshiki is stronger than Kaguya. I really can't decide which one of them is stronger. Kaguya was fighting against teen versions of Naruto and Sasuke, and Momoshiki was fighting against adult versions of them. That would mean that Momoshiki is stronger because he performed similarly to Kaguya. But there's a catch. Kaguya also had to deal with Sakura and DMS Kakashi, whilst Momoshiki, after fusing with Ishiki, only fought against Sasuke and Naruto. You can argue that he was actually fighting the other 4 Kage, but he just one-shotted all of them, so he didn't waste any energy on it. In my opinion, I think that Kaguya is physically stronger than Momoshiki, but Momoshiki would probably win in a fight. The reason for that is that Kaguya doesn't know how to fight. She basically never fought in her life, only one time when she fought Ishiki. Momoshiki, on the other hand, is a more experienced fighter than Kaguya. The only way I see Kaguya winning in a fight is if she was able to hit Momoshiki with one of her ash bones. But she probably wouldn't be able to do that, and here's why. Momoshiki's reaction speed is absolutely insane. Naruto threw a Rasen Shuriken at him from not very far away, and he was able to instantly pull out his hand in order to absorb it. And then we realized that that wasn't a Rasen Shuriken, it was Sasuke. And Momoshiki, while being in point-blank range from Sasuke, was able to whip out a chain and wrap it around Sasuke in around a second. Kaguya doesn't have that reaction speed, and Momoshiki would probably be able to dodge her ash bones easily. But still, whether Kaguya is stronger than Momoshiki is up to debate. Number 2, Jigen. A lot of people don't think that Jigen is stronger than Kaguya, but for all the people that think that Kaguya is stronger, have you ever even watched Boruto? In their fight against Kaguya, Naruto and Sasuke won without sustaining that serious damage, because they were able to fight themselves afterwards. And in their fight against Jigen, where they were much stronger, they barely survived. They were both on the brink of death, especially Sasuke. The only reason why Jigen didn't kill them is because his body started to give out on him. And again, same as with Momoshiki, Jigen is much more experienced in fighting than Kaguya. People argue that Kaguya is even stronger than Ishiki, because she was able to beat him, but we don't even know how that fight happened. For all we know, she might have used some kind of tricks or anything, because there's no way that Kaguya would have beaten Ishiki in a fair fight. Number 1, Ishiki. It's not a surprise that Ishiki is the number 1 on this list. In his fight against Naruto, Sasuke and Boruto, he absolutely destroyed them all. He pulverized Sasuke in the ground multiple times, crushed Naruto between 2 cubes, and broke Boruto's arm and ribs, without even breaking a sweat. He sustained 0 damage in that fight. It was only after Naruto used Baryon mode that Ishiki was being pressured. And by being pressured I mean that Naruto absolutely annihilated him. He got beaten so bad that his lifespan was reduced to only a couple of minutes. During the last minutes of his life he tried to pass the karma to Kawaki, but wasn't able to do it in time. In the end, Ishiki died, but so did Kurama. For the people who are wondering why Nagato isn't on the list, here's why. Nagato is weaker than Delta, and Delta takes the number 10 spot. Yes, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it makes a lot of sense. During the 4th Great Shinobi World War, Nagato was reanimated, and he had access to all his 6 pets abilities. He was fighting against KCM Naruto. And yes, Naruto was losing in that fight, but he was doing okay, like he wasn't performing horrible against Nagato. And here's the thing, Nagato was fighting just the regular KCM Naruto at the beginning of the war. After that, Naruto unlocked KCM 2, was able to stack it with Sage mod, got 6 pets powers by Hagoromo, and afterwards got the second half of Kurama, and had more time to grow as a fighter. And Delta was fighting against heavily suppressed Naruto while he was in his 6 pet Sage mod state. Yes, he was heavily suppressed, but if you really think that Nagato could perform any better than Delta in that fight, then you're just lying to yourself. I hope I cleared out why Nagato wasn't on the list. Like, don't get me wrong, Nagato is insanely powerful, but Naruto just fought a lot stronger people than him. Guys, thank you for watching my video, and see you in the next one.